What is going on, guys, and welcome to HTML tutorial. In this video we're actually going to be covering one more page in our website project that we're working on, but this is going to be the final page that we're actually going to be adding, and this page is going to contain forms. But as you can see, if we have a look what we have over here, so we have our T website and then the articles page, production page, and T shop page. So let's go back to the T website over here, and I have 4 links, so I would need to create one more link actually if I would want to make it obviously one more page, right? So I'm just gonna make this smaller because for some reason it's really getting in my way over here, so I'm just gonna keep this small so we have a little bit more space. And what I'm gonna do over here, I'm just gonna copy this over here like this, and actually I cut it, so that was pretty smart. But anyway, so now we have one more link, but we don't want it to be the same link, so I'm gonna say that this link is gonna be called survey over here like this. And over here I'm gonna write that I need to create a page first, right? So I'm gonna say that this is gonna be survey HTML, and over here I'm just gonna say that I need to go on the website, I need to go back to survey HTML, and this is gonna be the location of where I wanna my link to go. So now I can see that I have, I believe, 5 links, right? 5 links, and I have 5 pages. But again, as always, what I would want to do is actually I'm just going to copy this so it makes it a little bit faster. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to go to survey, and over here I'm just going to use again brackets extension, basic HTML skeleton, and over here we just get rid of these meta tags for now, and within the body we just paste it over here like this. That's it. This is the work that we have done, right? So now we have all the addresses and everything, and over here what we're gonna do is we're just gonna place some forms here. So what I want to do is make it a little bit bigger so we can see, and all our forms are going to be here. And obviously I'm going to create, well, I'll try to do as many forms as I can, but I don't think that I'm going to do all of them. But the first thing that obviously we would need to do is actually create a form element over here, but the attribute, the action, and the actual method, I'm just going to leave it for now a blank over here, action. I'm just going to say that this is going to be a blank, and method also. I don't think that there's a way, there's a need to actually do that. If you want, if you remember, we can actually try to do it in our email, but I'll let you do that yourself because, again, we're not going to be covering anything right now, how to actually deal with the forms in a sense of actually working with the databases. So the next thing that I would want to do is actually create a field set over here. And within that field set, the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to create a legend over here. And the legend is going to say, let's say, your details over here like this. So this is going to be my legend. And as I keep going then I'm going to start creating labels, a bunch of them actually. And the first label is going to basically going to be a name. And I'm going to say name over here like this. And we can go over here, you can see this is where we're starting right now. And obviously by the name we're going to write that input, and this is going to be the simplest one that we actually can have, and this is going to be text over here like this. And I'm going to say the name of it is going to be name over here like this. And the next thing that I would want to do is, let's say that I'm going to leave the size to be like, let's say 30, because I don't want whoever is dealing with those forms, I don't want them to be become a writer. So we're just going to leave it at 30. And the next thing what we're going to do is actually we're going to create a line break over here like this. So now we have created our first form input, right? And obviously we're going to keep on going because we're not going to be stopping here. And the next thing what we're going to do is actually we're going to create a let's say I don't know, 2 more. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these labels, I'm going to copy this and paste it over here, and over here again we're going to paste it, right? So now we have 3 of them, but of course here I'm just going to write a different name. If we had name over here, I'm going to save that I would want their, let's say, email over here. And the next thing that I would want is, let's say we're gonna have them to actually review it, right? But here email, and then we write text, and obviously it's gonna be email, and actually the name is gonna be email also. And I'm gonna say that the size, let's say, is still gonna be 30. And I think, you know what we can do? We can actually take this last name over here, and we can still say that this is gonna be text, and we're gonna say that this is the last name. And now what we can do is actually we're just gonna change it around, because I think I went right away with an email, but I should have probably first would be smarter a little bit if we actually would have put the last name, right? So now we have a name, we have a last name, and we actually have an email, and you can see that the input type is email, right? So moving along, what we can do is we can actually create another field set, right? Because this would be our details. But the next thing, let's create a field set that would be actually dealing with a review of how the person would find our website, right? So I create a new field set over here, and again I would start with the legend, and the legend would say your review over here like this. So you can see again I have a nice legend. And the next thing that I would want is, let's say, to create a label. And of course that label would be, I think I'm going to place it within paragraph tags over here like this. And let's just keep going and create a label over here. And that label, I think in this case, I'm just going to add a attribute over here, like 4. And let's say I'm just going to leave it blank for now as I'm working right now. And over here, I'm just going to say, how did you hear about us? Over here, and exclamation, not an exclamation, actually a question mark. And I'm going to close it out, this label, like this. And actually, I didn't mistake. You can see the label is here. And actually, I'm just going to put it here. So this is how I want to look. And then what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to create a select box over here. So I'm going to write a select over here, and I'm going to say that the name is, let's say, select. Pretty simple. And over here I'm going to say ID, and again I could just say something, let's say I'm going to hear about. And now when I know that what is my name over here for my select box, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create this ID. And this is going to be here about. So now you can see that I have created a select box over here. How did you hear about us? And what what I need to do is obviously I need to create a couple of options here, so they actually have something to choose from. So the first thing is I'm going to do is I need to write a option over here, option element, and I would say value. And that value would be, let's say, Google. And over here, I'm going to write Google. So now this, you can see that this is my first option, right? So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm just going to copy this so it's a little bit quicker. And the next thing what we can have over here is a friend. And the next thing probably we can do is advert. That would be the commercial somewhere over here like this. And the last thing we would do is, let's say, other. So that's their options. So we go over here, and again we write the same thing. So we have friend, we have a advert, and then the last thing we have other. So these are the options, and you can see that this is our nice field set over here that we have set for how did you like what is, let's say, our review, right? But now when we're done with this paragraph, let me just go up like this. This is going to be our first paragraph in this how did you hear about us. And what we can do is we can actually create another paragraph within the same field set, right? This is just going to create us a little bit more room, and let's open up a different paragraph and let's just keep working. And over here I'm going to say what would be like, would you visit us again, right? Would they be interested in, let's say, of coming and visiting our website, right? Would you again? Over here we write like this, and then I'm going to create a line break over here like this, line break over here, line break element over here like this, and then I'm going to keep on going, and I'm going to start creating again a labels. And in this case, I'm just going to create a radio buttons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a label, and within the label, I'm just going to start creating a radio buttons. And the way we obviously create a radio button, we're going to use type, and we're going to say that the type is going to be radio. And what we need to go is that we need to actually create a name, and the name for all of them should be the same if we're working with them. So in this case, what I'm going to say that the name is, let's say the name is going to be a rating over here, and the value is going to be, in this case, it's going to be yes, but I'm going to create yes, no, maybe. So now I have yes, and what I need to do over here is actually create a yes option for the person, right? So what I'm going to do over here, I'm going to close this label, and I'm going to copy this this label 2 more times, because these are going to be my radio buttons. So I'm going to press copy, paste, and we're going to open a new one and paste it over here. And now I can see, would you visit us again? Yes, yes, yes. Well, but that's not what they probably would want to do. So let's go here, no. And over here, we're going to say maybe. And over here, the value obviously would have to, well, would have to be the same in a sense that it would need to make sense. So therefore, we're going to be creating the value exactly the same as our option over here. So I'm just going to say no over here. And what I would want to do is actually probably this is going to be it for this paragraph. And the next thing that what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to create another paragraph. And this is going to be for the comments. So let's just keep going over here. We're going to close it out, and we're going to keep on with the new paragraph. So in the new paragraph, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say that I'm going to create a new label, and that label is going to have a over here a attribute, and it's going to be attribute 4, and it's going to be for comments over here like this. And within that label, we're going to write a comment. So we're going to say comments. So you can see what I'm doing over here, and you can see our labels. And maybe what we can do always, we can just zoom it in, so we can see it a little bit better how it looks like over here. And you can see that this is in our survey page. However, I haven't named the page, so let's just jump over here and right away write survey. So we know that this is our survey page, right? And now we're still working over here with the comments. And the next thing that I would want to do is actually I'm going to again create a little bit more space over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a line break over here like this. So now we have a line break. And let's see what is happening, what else we can actually add over here. And I'm going to say that I'm going to add let's say a text area where they actually could write their comments, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say a text area over here, and I'm just going to get back again the code hints, text area over here. And I'm going to say that text area is going to have, let's say, rows, right? That's going to be the attribute that we'll be using. And I'm going to say that it's going to have like 10 rows, and it's going to have like, I don't know, like 50 columns, right? So this is going to be a 50 columns, 10 rows, and I'm going to call it ID. I'm going to say that this is going to be, I'm going to give it a name ID, and I'm just going to say comments. So this is going to be my ID, okay? And over here, I'm just going to close it out, and this is going to be a text area, right? This is what we have. So if we go over here, you can see that this is the comments and this is the text area. So I'm going to, again, make it a little bit more space for myself over here. And I'm going to do the last paragraph over here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a label over here. And the label is basically going to be a submit, right? For the submit button. So now that I've closed this paragraph, and the last thing that I'm going to do is actually create a submit button, But also I think that it's good to actually have a checkbox over here. I think that's also something that it's probably better if we actually remember how we did that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a label over here, and I'm going to say that this label is going to be for the input, and I'm going to say type over here, and I'm going to say that type is actually a checkbox, right? Because that's what I said over here. So I have a type is going to be the checkbox, and the name is going to be subscribe. That's going to be my option, and then I'm going to say that this is going to be checkbox checked, because remember when we wanted a checkbox to be checked, all we had to do is actually create a attribute over here like this, checked, and this is here, I'm going to say checked. So now I'm going to close this out, and now you can see that I have my little checkbox over here. And let's say that I'm going to have a name for it, so I'm going to say that sign me up for email updates. So this is going to be my checkbox, you can see over here. And the next thing that I would want to do is actually I'm going to go ahead and make room here with the label. And the last thing that I'm going to do is actually create a line break over here, like this. And what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to create a submit button. And I'm going to write over here input, and I'm going to say that input type, and it's going to be a submit. That's going to be a submit button. And the value I'm going to write that, let's say submit if you dare, right? If you dare. So I'm just going to close this out for now over here like this. And basically what we have is pretty much the end, because we have a form and we have all the field sets, and I think we have covered everything that we wanted, right? So this is going to be it for these forms over here. And what I want to do is actually I want to maximize this window over here. And again, I need to maximize it one more time. And now you can see that I have my survey, and this is going to be my actual T-shop whatever page where we had our iframe over here. And over here, if we wanted the survey and articles and production, and let's just jump back to our brackets, and now you can see that this is our website in general, right? So when we had a website, you can see that this is where we're actually working without a live preview. This is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next video.